So we apologize for being late due to a technical difficulty, but we're finally on the air with True Sports episode 34. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. Man, only one NFL divisional playoff game was not close, and that's the Giants-Eagles game. Yeah, the Eagles were just too much for the Giants.
Oh, I knew that.
Right. Eagles. Yeah, the Eagles are a really good team.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
man.
yeah. But what they said was it's tough to be a team 3 times in a row. Well, guess what? They found a way to do it.
Well, yeah, they did
Yeah.
because they're good. They're good.
Well, yeah.
Jaguars gave the Chiefs a fight, but the Chiefs still managed to win at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then got the
Ooh.
Bengals Bills game. The Bengals again. Well, they led the Bills 7-3 before the Damar Hamlin collapse, and the Bengals won 27 to 4. Yeah, the Bengals won, but
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, Cowboys and 49ers, that was a tight one.
As expected.
Yeah.
Well, I expected it.
Yep. 27-10 Bengals. Yes, I was gonna say. So yeah, your thoughts?
Well, like I said, I thought the Cowboys winners that was going to be a tightly defensive game, and most of us agree. I thought maybe the Cowboys might have a chance to pull up an upset in enemy territory. But when you got Brock Purdy, who has proven that even a third string quarterback can make an impact, and he has. I mean, he is. I think he's the face of the franchise for that squad, and he's showing it. He showed it in the last playoff game. And he showed it tonight. So I think the Cowboys couldn't handle him. Now the Eagles and the Giants. Come on, that was going to be a given right there. Giants were no match for the Eagles. And how could they say that, Danny Dimes is an elite quarterback? No, he had one good playoff game last week. That makes him elite? No. Because what did he do in last night's game? Nothing. Nothing. You made him out to be something he's not. He is not an elite quarterback. Maybe down the road somewhere like another, if he stays in there 4 or 5 years, maybe it gets good, but he is not going to be like another Eli Manning or Phil Simms back in the day. So if you're going to compare him to that, you're wasting your time. Forget it.
True. You gotta earn it to win it.
Yes, you do. I was kind of surprised though that the Bills lost at home to the Bengals in the snow in their territory. I thought maybe that'd be an advantage, for them. But the Bengals, just proved them wrong. And I know some Bills fans who are not happy about this, particularly one that I personally know. And she's gonna give me an earful this week. Oh boy, that was a big surprise. I thought really this was Buffalo's destiny. They're gonna do it for Damar Hamlin, who was at the game, but even that wasn't enough. And that snow, oh my goodness.
The Bills usually love playing in the snow, but in
Yeah,
all seriousness, they keep collapsing in the playoffs.
yeah. Haven't been to the Super Bowl since 1993. They went 4 in a row. They got worse every time. So the curse still continues for the Bills. Will they ever win a Super Bowl? Not in my lifetime.
No. Yeah, we all thought the Cowboys 49ers were going to be a defensive slugfest, and it was. It proved to be.
Yes.
But Jaguars Chiefs, your thoughts on that?
Well, even though the Chiefs had some injury problems with Patrick Mahomes, I really thought though that that it was going to be a negative impact on the Chiefs, and the Jaguars were going to be able to take advantage of it because when you have your best player, I mean that can change the whole outcome of the game right there. But I guess that was proven wrong. I really thought Mahomes out that could have been the advantage for the Jaguars. But of course, a lot of people didn't give the Jaguars credit and thought, well, this is it for them. They're going up against Kansas City, a powerhouse, and they proved to be a powerhouse and beat Jacksonville. So, give or take.
Yep. All right. So who you got in the Chiefs Bengals AFC Championship game next week?
I gotta go with the Chiefs. Sorry, Bengals fans.
Yeah, it's gonna be it might be a close one.
Should be.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a defensive slugfest. I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs on that one.
Oh yeah.
And then the NFC Championship game, the Eagles and the 49ers.
Ah. That's a
Damn
tough
it.
one. That's a tough one.
I'm
That's a
going to go
tough
with the
one.
Eagle. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if Purdy is, being always been said to be in these playoffs and late in the regular season, I think he's got enough to carry the 49ers through. And I hate the Eagles anyway.
Okay. All right. So let's check out the 3 o'clock and 6:30 games. Got the Bengals Chiefs on CBS at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
3 o'clock and 3 o'clock. You got the Eagles and 49ers on Fox. Let's see the leagues. Championship. Still doesn't have the championship. I'm looking at the score.com mobile app.
Mm-hmm.
I can look up the NFL mobile
Well,
app.
I believe that the NFC game first will be at 3, and the AFC game will be at 6:30.
Yeah, the AFC game will be at 6:30. The NFC game will be at 3 o'clock on Fox.
Right. Yeah.
Conference championships. There we go.
Yeah.
49ers at Eagles on Fox at 3 o'clock. That's the NFC Championship game. I found it.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Followed by Bengals Chiefs in Kansas City at 6:30 on CBS.
Tough place to play.
The winner each of both of those games will move on to Super Bowl 57. We're in a halftime show. Rihanna will perform.
No argument for me.
Apparently alone. Apparently she'll perform alone.
Fine.
But anyhow, that takes us to your true sports report. Go ahead, Lewis.
And of course, there won't be any Disturbia with that either. Oh no. Okay. All right, fans. Here we go. We got games in progress right now in the NBA. Currently, I'm also viewing the Nets versus the Warriors, and the Nets are up 84-82 with just under 3 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. All right. In the late stages of the fourth quarter, the Thunder lead the Nuggets by 2, 99-97. Gregorius is 32 points. Murray, 26 points and 9 assists. With 3:38 to go in the fourth, the Suns lead the Grizzlies 107-96. Morant has 23 points, 7 assists. Paul has 22 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds. At the half, the Blazers are beating up on the Lakers 71-46. Forget it. Simmons has 22 points and Bryant has 14 points. What a disaster. Clippers over the Mavericks 112-98. Leonard had 30 points and 9 rebounds. Luka has 29 points and 10 rebounds. The Heat over the Pelicans 196. Larry Nance Jr. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals. Tower Hero 26 points and 8 rebounds. The Raptors over the Knicks 125-116. Thanks a lot. Julius Randle 23 points, 19 rebounds, and 8 assists. Pascal Siakam, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Good player. I have to give him that. He is a good player, even though he beat my team. Yeah. All right, so we'll go to the schedule, and it goes like this. And I'm happy to say that my computer is acting a lot faster. Okay, so for tomorrow, your 7 o'clock games will be the Bucks versus your Pistons, and the Celtics take on the Magic. Your 8 o'clock games are the Hawks versus the Bulls, and the Wolves taking on the Rockets. 9 o'clock, the Hornets take on the Jazz. The Spurs take on the Blazers at 10, and the Grizzlies take on the Kings at 10:30. By the way, the Hawks, Bulls, and Grizzlies Kings game are on NBA TV. So just if you have that, you might want to check it out. Maybe. All right, so the standings go like this. In the East, the Celtics are 35-12. Yuck. Have a 4.5 game lead over the Sixers at 30-16. The Bucks are 29-17 at 5.5 back. 6 back are the Nets at 28-17. The Cavaliers are 29-19 and 6.5 back. The Heat are 26-22, 9.5 back. The Knicks are still in 7th despite a 4-game losing streak. They're at 25-23, 10.5 back. Help. Hawks are 11 back at 24-23. That's one back. 12 back are the Pacers at 23-25. The Bulls are 21-24, 13 back. A lot of them were expecting to do better this year. I don't know what happened. Bringing down the rear, the Raptors are 21-27, 14.5 back. Also 14.5 back are the Wizards at 20-26. Sorry, Steve. Magic are 17-29, 17.5 back. The Hornets 13-34, 22 back. And your Pacers are 12-36, 23.5 back.
Oh man,
Okay.
I love how you did that.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it out loud. I didn't want to embarrass the Detroit fans out there. So
Yeah,
they're going through a bad season
yeah
enough.
they have thin skin.
Yeah, it's only getting thicker. Oh boy. Okay, to the West, the Nuggets are 33-13, have a game and a half lead over the Grizzlies at 31-14, thanks to John Morant. Kings 26-19, 8.5 back, 6.5 back. The Pelicans 28-21, 7.5 back. The surprise team of the year, I think. The Mavericks 25-23, 9 back. 9.5 back are the Clippers at 25-24. Okay. Oh, Warriors are now taking a 4-point lead with a minute to go. Yeah. Okay. The Timberwolves are 24-24, 10 back. Also 10 back are the Warriors at 23-23. The Jazz are 24-25, 10.5 back. And the Suns are 23-24, 10.5 back. The Thunder are 22-24, 11 back. Blazers 21-24, 11.5 back. The Lakers 21-25, 12 back. The Spurs, oh boy, 14-32, 19 back. And if you want really pathetic, try this one, guys. If you think that the Pistons were bad, the Rockets are even worse. 10-36, 23 back. Now that's pathetic.
I've been keeping
Wow.
track of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is 2021 all over again as of right now.
Yeah, the Rockets are grounded. Okay. To the ice.
They're not the only
The
one.
Coyotes are ahead of the Knights 3-1, 8:37 to go in the third period. Devils beat the Pens today 2-1 in overtime. The Bruins blanked the Sharks 4-0. This team was on a roll. Ugh. The Kings over the Blackhawks 2-1. The Jets over the Flyers 5-3. So now we'll go to the schedule for tomorrow, and it goes like this. Okay, a fairly light schedule for a Monday night, but still got some good games here. Your 7 o'clock games are the Panthers taking on my Rangers. The Islanders take on the Maple Leafs. 8 o'clock, the Sabres take on the Star. 8:30, excuse me. The Sabres take on the Stars. At 9:30, the Blue Jackets take on the Flames. Ugh, Flames. Your standings go this way. In the Atlantic and the Eastern Conference, the Bruins are just on fire. They can't seem to be stopped. They're at 37-5-4, 78 points. The Maple Leafs are a distant second at 28-11-8, 64 points. The Lightning are 29-5-1, 59 points. The Panthers are 23-20-5, 51 points. The Sabres are 23-19-3, 49 points. Red Wings, not bad, 19-18-8, 46 points.
Yeah,
Senators,
but I think they're heading for another downfall from what I can sense.
probably.
They keep on losing.
Yeah. So the Senators are 20-23-3, 43 points, and the Canadiens also have 43 points at 20-24-3. Okay, over to the Metro. The Hurricanes have 66 points at 29-9-8. Devils, not that far behind, 30-12-4, 64 points. Rangers, they need a little bit of help here, 25-14-7, but still respectable, 57 points. But right behind them are the Capitals at 25-18-6, 58 points, 56 points. 54 points are the Pens, 23-15-8. Oh boy.
Those are good amounts.
Yeah. Islanders, 23-20-5, 51 points. The Panthers are the Flyers, rather, or as I say, the Criers, 20-21-7, 47 points. And bringing up the rear, the Blue Jackets at 14-30-2, 30 points. That team can't do anything right. To the West, in the Central, the Stars are 28-13-7, 63 points. Also 63 points are the Jets at 31-16-1. The Wild, 54 points at 25-16-4. The Avalanche, 25-17-3, 53 points. The Predators are 50 points at 22-18-6. The Blues have 49 points at 23-21-3. The Coyotes, 33 points at 14-27-5. The Blackhawks, 14-27-4, 32 points. That's to the Pacific. The Knights, 60 points at 29-16-2. The Kraken, 27-14-5, 50 points. 59 points. Okay. The Kings, 58 points, 26-17-6. 57 points of the Oilers, 27-18-3. Hey, we got a race here, guys. Wow. Flames, 53 points at 22-16-9. But now further down the list, the Canucks, 18-25-3, 39 points. I got some news about them coming up. The Sharks, 14-25-9, 37 points. And bring up the rear in the Western Conference, the Ducks are 13-29-5, 31 points. Wow. Ugly as sin. Okay. And that was pretty bad enough. All right. So, like I said, now we'll take on to the headlines of the day. Oops, let me do something here. Yeah. Okay. So, as I was mentioning, we have some other news here, and of course, congratulations to the We're going into the NFC and AFC championship games next week. Ugh. Too bad couldn't be my Cowboys though. Ugh. What a shame. All right. So now we'll go to the news headlines of the day. Orlando Magic center Jonathan Isaac is set to make his return from a severe knee injury that sidelined him on August 2nd of 2020. Yes, that long ago. Isaac's pastor said today in a Sunday morning service that he is ready to return, but then a source confirmed to ESPN that Isaac was listed as questionable on the injury report later in the afternoon. If all goes well, he should be upgraded by tomorrow ahead of tomorrow night's game against the Celtics. Isaac missed all of 2020 and 2021 and only played 2 games since the bubble after he first injured his knee on January 1st of 2020. After he started to practice with the team last month, he played 3 games for their G League affiliate in Lakeland. All right. The long-awaited return, AL Nasser debut of Cristiano Ronaldo was a disappointment as he failed to score in his opening match with the Saudi Arabia club. Al Nasser moved back to the top of the Saudi Pro League 1 point ahead of their rivals Al Hadley, thanks to the only goal scored by Anderson Talika. His debut was delayed after serving a 2-match suspension handed down during his incident when he was still with Manchester United. His best chance to score was a first half free kick that went over the crossbar. Other than that, just a quiet night for the world's best soccer player. Well, I think he's the world's best soccer player. Some might argue that might be Lionel Messi. As I mentioned, I had some news about the Canucks as they fired their head coach Bruce Brodeau as
Yep,
another
Boudreaux.
underachieving Boudreaux as another underachieving season in Vancouver is about to hit the team. The
I know,
Canucks
right?
announced,
He
yeah,
sucks.
Boudreaux.
He
I know.
sucks as a coach.
Tell me about it. The Canucks announced the change today, saying the team was in need of major surgery to fix their season, as said by team president Jim Rutherford. Major surgery, huh? Okay. The Canucks have only made the playoffs once in their last 8 seasons. Rick Tocchet will serve as the replacement. The Canucks have lost 28 of 46 games this season. Wow. Rick Tocchet. Good luck. All right. Scary incident happened yesterday between rivals North Carolina and NC State as uh, Terkovanian Smith was released from a hospital last night and is day to day after a scary fall against their state rivals, North Carolina, just hours before. Smith is a projected first round pick and reported neck and elbow pain and numbness in his right arm and was stretched off the court midway in the second period. He was taken to UMC Medical Center where x rays were negative, the school announced, and he returned to Raleigh last night. He took a hard fall on a drive to the basket midway through the second period, landing on his back. That's going to hurt. He remained on the floor for several minutes as trainers attended to him and his teammates looked on. A stretcher was brought out to move Smith, who suffered a neck injury. Lecky Black of North Carolina was assessed with a flagrant 2 foul and was ejected from the game, and for good reason. Ugh. All right. Hornets guard LaMelo Ball missed last night's game with a sore left ankle and a sore right knee, and also is dealing with a sore right wrist. Wow, a triple whammy. This is the third time this season he injured the same ankle. He missed the first 13 games of the season with the same injury and played just 3 games before injuring it yet again in November after stepping on a fan's foot against the Pacers that caused him to miss 11 games. He injured his ankle in a win over the Rockets last Wednesday. After losing 8 of 9, the Hornets won their last 2 games in a row and are now still 13 and 33 on the year. Not much to cheer about when you think about it. All right. Celtics got a double whammy as guard Marcus Smart and center Robert Williams were injured in the final minute in the first half. Smart suffered a right ankle injury near the end of the first half and needed help to the locker room. Williams stayed in the game after teammate Jaylen Brown collided with his knee in the opening quarter, but Williams did not return in the second half with a hyperextended knee. Ooh. Williams had left knee surgery in March, but did come back for the playoffs. The Nets got back on track on Friday as they beat the Jazz thanks to a 48-point performance by Kyrie Irving. Yes, he has improved this year. In the midst of describing his most defining game of the season, a reporter asked about the expectations in the absence of Kevin Durant, noting it was unrealistic expectation that Irving would score 50 points in every game of the season before and Irving had his own question. He did not think it was unrealistic at all. Part of the beauty of Irving planning on the court centers around the confidence he brings with him to the floor each night, no matter what the circumstances. He always believes he will deliver, but has not always been the case since they had a 4-game losing streak. Irving finished also with 11 rebounds and 6 assists on the second of a back-to-back, and without Durant, as he is rehabbing his MCL in his right knee. Irving has taken the leadership role seriously for a struggling group that looks up to him. All right. Steve Kerr says he does not mean the bad guy and emphasizes with fans who get upset when they rest their star players. The Warriors coach said that he has an answer for the solution: play fewer games throughout the season. Yeah, right. Following their loss to the Celtics on Thursday, Kerr sat Stephon Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Andrew Wiggins, despite being the Cavaliers. Curry, who returned from 11-game absence with a shoulder injury, played 43 minutes, scoring 29 points. Kerr's decision deprived fans of seeing Curry put on a shooting clinic as he did in the All-Star game last season. Kerr says he feels awful for fans who bought tickets and they did not get to see them play. It's the brutal part of the business. That's why he's advocating for a 72-game season. A shorter season would protect the players, balance the schedule, and improve the quality of play. More important, it would keep the players fresh for the playoffs. This creates enough rest, and we won't have these situations. I think you'll see fewer games missed from players. Yeah, with all that TV money and stuff, I don't think so. Because you don't play, you don't get paid.
Right.
Tempers flared near the end of the first half between the Grizzlies and the Lakers as the Grizzlies engaged in a shouting match with Pro Football Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. Yeah, Skip Bayless' partner. Yuck. Referees and security became involved to sell the confrontation as members of the Grizzlies, such as Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, John Morant, and Morant's father, as they gathered on the sideline on the opposite side of the bench to approach Sharpe. Sharpe, as a commentator for Fox Sports, was escorted by security through the tunnel to the back hallway of the arena. He stayed for halftime before returning to his seat in the third quarter. And his partner Skip Bayless is a moron.
Yeah, Skip Bayless is a total and complete moron.
Oh yeah. Well, if you guys are into tennis, boy, I got some news for you. It took nearly 2 decades to have 4 U.S.-born players reach week 2 of the Australian Open. And while the 2004 group featured champions such as Andy Roddick and Andre Agassi, everything is new for this quartet of players, such as J.J. Wolf, Sebastian Korda, Tommy Paul, and Ben Shelton, who all made it to the their fourth round debuts down under. Wolf, who played tennis at Ohio State, did not give much thought, since he only thinks of one match at a time, as he defeated Michael Minham in straight sets. There has to be a number of upsets. There has been a number so far, but he said there's good reason as to why it happens. Next up, Wolf faces NCAA champion Ben Shelton, who turned pro after using his passport to travel outside the country for the first time. He defeated Alexei Popperin in straight sets. Paul defeated Jensen Brooksby in straight sets 6-1, 6-4, 6-3. And now faces Roberto Bautista Agnat, who ended Andy Murray's run. Oof. But I like to see that Americans doing better in tennis because usually in the Australian Open, the Americans are usually out early. Yeah. All right. If there's any Anthony Davis fans out there, I may have some good news for you. He continues to be pain-free, while making pain-free progress on his right foot, and there is a chance he could return next week. The Lakers start a 5-game road trip in Boston starting on the 28th. Davis was diagnosed with a stress foot injury. He has ramped up his activity, and Coach David Ham said he was progressing well. At the time I wrote this, the Lakers were 20-25. Not good. And right now, going to the fourth quarter, the Warriors are starting to pull away from the Nets. It's now 106-98, 6.5 to go in the fourth. Warriors are still now they're playing with the champs they were from last season. They weren't a few weeks ago. Now they're back on track. And Ben Simmons continued to struggle when they had their 4-game losing streak, as he had an argument towards the official and was ejected. Yeah. This was their fourth straight as they continued to struggle without Kevin Durant, who was still out with the right knee. Nets coach Jacques Vaughn was asked how to get Simmons back on track and pointed out his struggles are coming from both sides of the ball. We need him to be productive, and that's without fouls. That is helping us rebound the basketball. This is playing with composure and poise, and that is pushing the pace for us. In Thursday's game, Simmons had 7 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, but had 4 turnovers. And the previous game before that on Tuesday, he scored his first triple double of the year. After being called for his fifth foul early in the third, Simmons kept rambling at official Eric Lewis and got 2 quick technical fouls and was out of the game.
Ben
He's a
Simmons is
loser.
Ben Simmons is a pansy.
He's a bum. He's a bum. Oh boy.
He's afraid to shoot the basketball, I learned.
If you're afraid to shoot the basketball, then what are you doing playing the game?
Too many makes too many passes.
Yeah. Unreal. I mean, they hyped him up, even before he even played a game. And his first year, he was into the first game he ever played in. He didn't play that whole year again. He has done nothing. Okay. So anyway, on the women's side of the tennis, Jessica Pegula had not dropped a set so far in the tournament, and you would think she'd be pleased with the results. Guess again. The third seed Pegula is a self-complaint perfectionist, and I hate that. So it was.
There's no such thing as a perfectionist in sports.
Yeah, that's true, but some people think they are, like my former boss. Mm-hmm. So she gave herself a hard time in what happened late in the second set, despite a 6-0, 6-2 win. She became disgusted with herself in a match that only took an hour to complete. But what exactly? Well, having won 10 of the last 11 games and serving a lead of 30 love, when she stumbled briefly, she missed 3 first sets in a row. She pulled a backhand over the net. She got a double fault and sent a backhand long to end an 11-stroke exchange. And added up, she got broken there as her lead was streaking. Pegula said she got down on herself when she was younger, but added that she has been working on that and not to be so hard on herself during the matches, which she shouldn't. Pegula has reached the quarterfinals in the last 2 years in the tournament, but has yet to get past that stage. Sports is in her blood because her parents are the principal owner of the Buffalo Sabres and the Buffalo Bills. The other American, Coco Graf, advanced as she beat Julia Ostapenko, who was 17th ranked. Coco is 7th ranked, by the way. And as we know that all good things come to an end, and for Gonzaga, their home winning streak had come to an end this past weekend, as their 76 home game winning streak was stopped by Loyola Marymount, of all teams. The home streak was the 8th longest in Division I history. It included a win in November over Kentucky at a neutral site in Spokane, Washington, though the NCAA did consider it a home game. Cam Shelton scored 27 points and led the Lions to an upset victory, stopping a 25-game losing streak against the Bulldogs. Head coach Stan Johnson said it was another sign that the program was moving up in the right direction. Not too many people come here and win. So I think it stands here and validates the team that we have here in the locker room and all the things we try to accomplish. Gonzaga won 83 straight games against teams that were not ranked in the top 25, with 46 at home. The streak of 36 wins in the month of January also ended. They also ended an 11-game winning streak when they lost to Baylor on December 2nd. Well, like I said, all good things come to an end. Maple Leaf star Austin Matthews and Bruins leading scorer David Hasnark are among the final 12 players voted into the All-Star game. What a shock. The All-Star game and skills competition will be held on All-Star Weekend on February 3rd and 4th at the home of the Florida Panthers. The All-Star game will be a 3-on-3 competition with 11 players representing 4 divisions. And it's coming up sooner than you think. All right, the Greek Freak surpassed Kevin Durant, putting him in the running to be the team captain for the East in the All-Star game on February 19th. The Greek Freak has more than 5,900,000 votes entering Thursday, said the league, in the third update of voting. Durant is more than 132,000 behind him, and of course, looks to be widening because he's not gonna be back in time. LeBron James is the West and overall leader with more than 6.5 million votes. He has been captain in all 5 previous uses of the new format, where the top vote getters in both conferences get to pick their rosters from other selections. And LeBron's teams are 5-0 in All-Star games where he is the team captain. Yeah. Okay. More tennis. Novak Djokovic, aka the Joker, has left shoe propped up on the courtside side so he could stretch out his hamstring that acknowledged afterwards concerns him. He grimaced after flexing the muscle, after flexing one point, hopping on his right leg to keep the weight off. He took a medical timeout to get retaped by a trainer during the second set that he lost. If that wasn't bad enough, Dvorak was being heckled, and they asked the chair umpire to remove this schmuck from the court at the Rod Laver Arena, telling the official, "This guy is just way too drunk out of his mind, and he just wants to bug me." However, Dvorak did not lose entirely and went on to win round 2, unlike Rafael Nadal, the top seed, and second seed Casper Ruud. He is seeking his 10th title down under and 22nd Grand Slam title overall. Yeah, I got more on that with the injury in a minute because speaking of Nadal, here it is. He could miss up to 8 weeks with a hip flexor injury after losing to Mackenzie McDowell in the second round in the Australian Open. An MRI revealed the injury. Nadal was the defending champion, pulled up lame, reaching for a ball in the second set. Nadal asked for a medical timeout, but was not able to continue much on after that. The bone that was injured connects the spine to the lower limbs. In an effort to regain fitness, he will return to Spain to start treatment and rehab. What a shame. I was hoping for a good matchup between those two in the final. Now, forget it. And we got a milestone to measure here as Lightning captain Steven Stamkos got goal number 500 in his career in a hat trick to boot with a win over the Canucks back on Thursday. He took a slick pass from Alex Killorn and a backdoor tap against goaltender Spencer Martin to begin the scoring. Stamkos said it was a humbling experience when you get a moment like that and get to celebrate it with your teammates, and they're just as excited as you are. I couldn't say better myself. Stamkos opened the scoring 4.5 minutes and ended with an empty net with 72 seconds left for his 21st goal of the season. He is the third active scorer to reach 500 goals behind Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin. And Alex keeps it up. He'll break that record. Maybe. All right. DeMar Hamlin visited the Bills' locker room before they went on to face the Bengals this afternoon. The Bills tweeted Hamlin through video at Highmark Stadium alongside his family. Hamlin did not come out onto the field before the game and left the locker room to watch the game from a suite. Late in the second quarter, Hamlin was seen up on the video board as fans erupted with applause as he made a heart sign with his hands while standing in the suite. His visit comes nearly 3 weeks after going into cardiac arrest in a game against the Bengals. He continues to recover from the cardiac arrest that prompted the league to cancel the game, and rightfully so. He spent a week at the Cincinnati Medical Center before heading back to Buffalo, where he spent 2 days at Buffalo General Hospital and then was released. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes suffered a high ankle sprain in yesterday's win over the Jaguars. The nature of the injury to his right ankle was confirmed today by MRI, but showed no other major damage. So it's not entirely that bad. Mahomes said he plans to play in the AFC Championship game. Well, we'll see. It feels better than I thought it would, said Mahomes. So after the victory, that put the Chiefs in the AFC title game for the fifth straight year. I have a lot of adrenaline going right now, so we'll have to wait and see how it feels. But I have right to treatment and do what I can to be ready for next Sunday, as they now will have the AFC Championship game. When I wrote it, the article I said, assuming they make it to the championship game. Well, now it's obvious. Okay. The New York Giants crash landed after their loss to the Eagles last night in the divisional playoff. Yeah, no kidding. Now the Giants face questions about their future. The contracts of Daniel Jones, aka Danny Dimes, and Saquon Barkley are expiring at the end of this year, and both are free agents. Barkley, who had discussions, says that he wants to stay with the Giants. He said he wants to be a Giant for life, but can't give a total 100% answer. It's out of my control. This week I will speak to my agent about it. As for Jones, it's more of a mystery, as the Giants declined to pick up his fifth-year option of his rookie contract prior to the season, which was his best of his career. We will cross that bridge when we get to it, says Jones. I enjoy playing here. I appreciate everyone in the locker room. It's a special group that we have here. I was glad to be a part of it. The Giants fell 28 to nothing at the half to the Eagles and could not get the ball rolling. So, yes, I said that. Uh, Jones threw for 135 yards and no touchdowns and had an interception. So it didn't go well for them at all. Right from the word go. The Jaguars clinched the NFC South and earned a berth in the divisional round was one of the most interesting developments the league had this season, said by head coach Doug Peterson. Peterson and quarterback Trevor Lawrence both agree that should not be the case any longer. Winning division titles and competing for a spot in the AFC title game and the Super Bowl should be the baseline going forward. Okay, I'll buy that. We worked hard to get there. No one will give us a chance, and that's what hurts, Lawrence said after the loss to the Chiefs. But he said, this is not the end, this is just only the beginning. You can't blame anyone for not believing the Jaguars would make the postseason after when the year started. They had the top draft pick in back-to-back years and only won 4 games in total in that span, and recovering from the disaster of one, say, Urban Meyer. I'll leave that alone. After being 3-7 on November 13th, the Jaguars did win 5 of the next 6, setting up for a winner go home in Week 18 versus the Titans. The Jaguars ended up winning 20-16 to earn the wild card spot. How much I can say for the Jets. Okay. After a stunning win over the Chargers, they could not get past Travis Kelce, who had 14 catches for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns, as he committed 2 turnovers and could not take advantage of an injured Patrick Mahomes, as I stated earlier. An up and down season with a 5-game losing streak, and to close out just short of reaching the AFC title game. Well, what can I say? So, that part right. Former captain for the Oakland A's, Sal Bando, who was later a player and general manager for the Brewers, passed away from cancer at the age of 78. Bando won 3 straight World Series titles from 72 to 74 for the A's. He had 64 doubles and 32 stolen bases and 295 total bases in 1973 and played all 162 games that season. Bando played college at ASU. He represented the A's in the All-Star game in 1969 and during that championship run from 72 to 74. He started his career in 1966 when the A's were still in Kansas City and finished 1981 for the Brewers. He had 242 home runs and 1,031 RBIs. He moved to the front office after his playing days and was promoted to general manager in 1991 for the Milwaukee Brewers. I remember him pretty well, especially in the later years. Okay, here's one for you. The University of Michigan fired co-offensive coordinator Matt Weiss, who was under
Yep.
investigation by university police for a report of computer access crimes at the school facilities. In a statement by athletic director Ward Manuel, he said the termination came after review of university policies. The statement also stated that the school would not comment on the matter any further. Okay. Weiss was the co-coordinator at Michigan for a season and with the
Just one
school for two
season.
seasons as coach, but was with the school for 2 seasons
Oh yeah.
and both to the college football playoff. He shared play calling duties this season on offense. His firing was expected to be for cause, and there is cause of contract that includes cause for firings for a conviction of a felony and conduct clause for morality. Oh boy. Officials at Michigan told ESPN on Tuesday that Weiss was placed on leave with no new evidence has emerged publicly since he was placed there. Oh boy. Okay, continuing on. See if we've got any more here. Oh yeah. The Ravens pushed back the narrative on Lamar Jackson's future. The team is uncertain and remains to being confident that they can sign their star quarterback to a long-term deal. I believe that Lamar wants to finish his career here, said general manager Eric Dakota at the end of the season's news conference. He spoke on Jackson on Thursday and began a media session saying he was excited about starting talks again. The sides have yet to reach an agreement despite 2 years of talks, and negotiations were suspended at the start of the season. Jackson just finished his fifth-year rookie option. He finished his fifth-year option on his rookie deal. If no deal is reached by March, then he would be placed on the franchise tag on Jackson to keep him from becoming an unrestricted free agent. You haven't made any progress in 2 years. What makes you think you're going to make progress now? I mean, really? 2 years and no progress? Doesn't that indicate something? Well, what can I say?
Matt Weiss was not arrested yet, but he. So what I'm learning is he still could be. Still,
Yes.
if he's still under investigation by the police for those crimes.
Yes. And we got more firings as the Vikings fired defensive coordinator Ed Donell on
Donatello.
unexpected decision. Donatello, despite winning 13 games in the regular season, the Vikings have not named a replacement yet. In a statement by first-year coach Kevin O'Connell, he said, "We will begin searching for our next head coach right away to fill this critical role as we continue to build a championship standard for the Vikings." Despite having one of the best regular seasons on record, they finished 28th in points allowed and 31st in yards allowed. So that's a cause for concern right there. The Giants gashed the Vikings for 31 points and 431 yards on 5 scoring drives in last week's game. His future has been in question since week 14 when O'Connell said that he was considering all options to improve the defense other than the change schemes entirely. When asked if he would make changes or hire a new defensive play caller, O'Connell said that he was not making that option at the moment. Donatello served as Vic Fangio's defensive coordinator for the Broncos and also coached him with the Bears and 49ers. Yeah. I mean, you had a great season. You still fire him anyway. But, considering those other statistics, yeah, I get it. Yeah, so I guess that the call for the refining was legit. Former Yankee closer Andreas Chapman signed a 1-year deal with the Royals for $3.7 million, that according to sources. Chapman, a 7-time All-Star, was 4-4 with 9 saves and a 4.46 ERA, which I think is rather borderline. Well, you know what? You can have him because Chapman was, even though he was the All-Star 7 times, he was still awful. Ugh. Ravens offensive coordinator Greg Roman is stepping down, citing fan outrage and player frustration. After meeting with Coach Harbaugh and his family, he said this simply was time to move on. The Ravens have also been decreasing in scoring over the last 4 seasons and have not been able to complement a passing game to their run game and questionable play calling. Up, Nets have the lead by 1 with a minute and 12 to go. Woohoo, this is going to be good. This is going to be good.
It's on NBA
And the
TV.
Dolphins, yeah, but I have it on the local outlet, yes, here
Oh
because
wow,
NBA TV
yeah,
because NBA TV here would black it out.
yep, true.
Yes. So I got the next best thing. Okay. The Dolphins fired defensive coordinator Josh Boyer after 3 seasons. The announcement came on Thursday. Head coach Mike McDaniel kept Boyer on as defensive coordinator when he was hired last year. Despite the defense making strides this season, McDaniel said it was the best interest to let him go. In other related news, they also fired safeties coach Steve Gregory, as well as linebacker coach Ty McKenzie and assistant linebacker coach Steve Horrentes. Boy, talk about cleaning the house. Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even more firings. Okay. A few days later, the Bucks lost to the Cowboys in the wild card round. They fired offensive coordinator Brian Leftwich, sources told ESPN. The decision to fire Leftwich after 4 years as an offensive play caller was the first personal move made by Todd Bowles as head coach. Despite the fact they had a losing season of 8-9, they won the NFC South in that pathetic division, falling way short of expectations that concluded in the Monday night loss to the Cowboys. But they had really no business being in the playoffs anyway. When you figure it out, the numbers fell off from their Super Bowl 2020 season to 18.4 points per game. That's 25th in the rankings, and had the lowest rushing attack at 76.4 yards. That forced quarterback Tom Brady to make 756 pass attempts, a career high for him. The Bucks' offense also suffered with the loss of Rob Gronkowski, who was not special, Al Marpet, right guard, and Antonio Brown, of course. But it was the lack of ability of Leftwich to the Bucks' personnel that stifled their offense. Brady is expected to be an unrestricted free agent, but the question is whether he has played his last game in Tampa and in the NFL overall. That remains to be seen. But remember, we heard this once before.
The Nets lead by 2, 118 to 116.
Can you hold him?
Oh,
We'll
oh,
see.
oh, O'Neal just hit a three before this timeout.
And a boy. Okay, the NFL announced that 5 teams will play home games next season away from home, and I do mean away from home because they'll be abroad. The Chiefs and Patriots will play in Germany, while the Bills, Titans, and Jaguars will play in London. The Bills and Titans will play 2 home games at Tottenham Stadium, and the Jaguars will play at Wembley Stadium as part of their multi-year commitment in London. The league made the announcement early Thursday morning. Dates and times will be announced when the league schedule is released in May. There will not be games played in Mexico next season due to the stadium being renovated. The destination cities for 2023 games will be announced later this year. The NFL previously announced that Munich and Frankfurt will host games in Germany for over the next 4 years. And to think when NFL Europe failed, you'll figure that out. Yeah. All right. When the Vikings signed Kirk Cousins to a contract extension last spring, the expectation was that he would be the starting quarterback through the 2023 season, so said by the general manager, as he confirmed the decision back on Wednesday. Was uncertain whether Cousins will receive another short-term deal or if he'll play next season, the final year of his deal. It is the expectation that Cousins will be our quarterback, said Kwesi Mesha, the coach, to discuss the Vikings' 2022 season. To continue on, Cousins is set to earn about $30 million in cash and count $36.2 million against the salary cap in 2023. An extension would make it very difficult to move on from him as he moves into his late 30s, but will likely lower his cap hit. And when a player reaches around that age, that's usually around the end of his career. When you hit your late 30s. I think we got a winner here, and we do. Next win over the Warriors, 120-116. Wow, what a game.
You're like 20. You're like 10 seconds ahead of me.
Oops. Sorry, didn't mean to spoiler.
That's a final now.
Former
Yep.
yeah, former LSU quarterback Walker Howard announced that he is transferring to Ole Miss. Howard was the 42nd ranked prospect in the 2022 class and signed with LSU. He spent one season with the Tigers, then went to the transfer portal on January 13th. He was the number 3 dual threat quarterback in the class and was committed to the class until Brian Kelly took over as head coach. Okay. Kelly was trying to recruit Howard to Notre Dame, then convinced the recruit to sign with LSU. Yeah. That was a shock right there. Okay. I forgot one little thing here. Okay. Yeah. Out there, Tommy Pham has come to a 1 year agreement with with the Mets. Oh boy. We're at $6 million. Continuing their off-season bonanza and pushing their payroll to $450 million. Pham could serve as a right-hander, could serve as a right-hand complement to Daniel Vogelbach as a DH for the Mets. Yeah, we'll see about that. He also played in the outfield in 134 games last season for the Reds and Red Sox with 17 home runs and 63 RBIs. However, his big hit last season did not come with a bat, but with his fist. In late May, he approached Jock Pearson, the outfielder for the Giants, during pregame warmups and slapped him across his head. Pham said he was angry over what he believed that Pearson was cheating in a fantasy baseball league, and Pham said he deserved to be slapped. No, he didn't. I mean, I understand you were angry about it, but you don't go slap the guy over something ridiculous as that. He was suspended for 3 games and traded to the Red Sox. He has 15-5 seasons. You can be angry all you want, but you don't go and slap the guy over something like that.
Hmm.
Sorry. And one more tragic note here. Georgia police said that excessive speed was the cause of a fatal crash that killed football player Devin Wilcox last weekend.
Here's an easy tip for you.
The,
Drive
yeah,
slow.
exactly. The police report released on Wednesday said the speed on a road with only a speed of 40 miles per hour as the primary cause of death. Only 40 miles an hour. The crash occurred in the early morning hours on Sunday in Athens, just 2 miles away from the campus. A few hours earlier, the Bulldogs held a parade as they celebrated their second straight national title. Bullock was a defensive lineman and was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, who was a recruit analyst, Chandler LaCroix, died shortly after being taken to the hospital. Woolock was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of his death. Well, linesman Warren McClellan, who was announced that he would enter the draft, was also injured, but his injuries were minor. Yeah, what a shame. And one more here. After experiencing their first winning season in 2017, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson says he will return next season. Sources confirmed to ESPN
Yep.
back on Wednesday. Johnson received serious interest for multiple head coaching positions after the Lions offense ranked fifth in the league this season with 26.6 points per game. This was his first full season as offensive coordinator. He was interviewed for top positions for the Colts and Texans and was scheduled to meet with the Panthers on Wednesday. Johnson opted to stay with the Lions because he believed this is a team on the brink of something special and did not want to leave after one season on the job. Ahead of that season finale against the Packers, Johnson declined to comment on how he approached any head coaching opportunities in the offseason. Lions coach Dan Campbell has often praised Johnson for his play calling ability and overall rapport with the team. Campbell does view Johnson as a head coach in the league, but does not want to lose him as a member of his staff either. He spent 3 years as tight ends coach and quality control coach for the Lions. All right, that'll wrap it for me. I'll hand it back over to you.
My ceiling for the Lions is, before we wrap things up, is going to be 11 to 12 wins in next season.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, because the way they won 8 out of the last 10 to wrap up their season, despite not making it to the playoffs, that's quite a surge in
Yeah.
finding ways to win. They're not the same old Lions anymore.
No, they're not. I was going to say that.
Yeah, if they keep
Yeah.
that up, they've got a shot at the NFC North Championship.
Maybe.
But it still has to be earned because wins do, of course. But right now, as of right now, I'm a firm believer that it'll happen.
You might be onto something there.
Yeah, because hey, they've overcome it. They have overcome adversity. They have still found ways to win, despite whatever's thrown at them.
Yes.
They've bitten other teams' kneecaps off too.
Right.
Yeah,
I
and
had
they've shown grit.
I got ahead of them. I didn't know what they're going to do well this season or not. I thought it'd be just another lonely season in Detroit, but they have stepped up and looking like a better team. They haven't put this well in years,
They
so I was kind of stunned. I was kind of stunned.
Yeah, they started 1-6 before they
Yeah.
fired their defensive backs coach Aubrey Pleasant and traded T.J. Hawkinson, one of their tight ends, to the Minnesota Vikings.
Smart move. Smart move.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So next Sunday at 10, AFC NFC episode 35, the AFC
Oh
NFC
yeah.
Championship games recap. Till
Oh
then,
yeah.
I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. This has been episode 34. Ta-ta for now. Until next Sunday night.
Good night, folks.
Hit him with a hind.